Hi, this is Cheryl back with you from Farmhouse Frugally. Today I have 7 trash to treasures, and they are all Christmas. So number 1, you may remember, maybe 2 or 3 weeks back, my husband had gone to the dump and brought me these mustardy yellow, more primitive country shelves. And that is lovely but doesn't match my home style. So I decided to take out the linen white chalked paint and to go ahead and paint them with 2 coats just to cover the tops and sides. Nobody was going to see the inside there. And then once that was fully dry, I went ahead with some black Waverly chalk paint and a dry brush, and I didn't want to sand it because I didn't want that goldy yellow coming through. So instead I just hit that here and there with some of the paint. You can see one's painted and one is not, to see if you like that distressed look. I do for my home, so I went ahead and lightly distressed both of those with that paint. And then here it is on that hutch I did a couple weeks back, and just wanted to show you how that looks as a riser. You could also use that hanging on the wall as a shelf. And then that takes us to number 2. Earlier in the summer, we had gotten a number of different wood and spindle items, and I love the shape of this. And so someone had also left a ton of paint, brand new paint, never opened, on the good table at the dump. So I painted that board in the linen white. And for for my birthday, my husband had gotten me a bunch of Christmas stencils. And so I took some of that paint and stirred that up really well. And then I taped that stencil to the board once that paint was dry. And I started with this foam pouncy brush thingy from the dollar store and quickly realized that was not going to cut it. It was definitely too much bleed through. So I switched to a firm stencil brush. You can kind of rotate with a dry brush, and look at the Christmas trees. They came out so much nicer, giving a little light and a little dark here and there. And I loved this enough to go ahead and put a clear coat over it and finish that so that I would have this for years to come. And I am absolutely in love with this piece. I'll show you a little bit more later on when some of these other pieces are finished. Now on to number 3. A couple years ago, I had a board left over from some project and some almost chicken wire. I'm not really quite sure what kind of wire that is. And I decided to attach the 2. I put a cute little lavender sign on it, and I had a bunch of little lavender pots in there, which were fine, but always a little too dark for me. That wood just didn't really pop. So I decided to take it apart and redo it by dry brushing that linen white over the wood to make that mostly white, leaving a little bit of that shining through. I added 5 ball canning jars, and that fit perfectly. And then I went through my Christmas stash. Now, 90% of this stuff came from the dollar store. Those cute little red trucks, a pack of 2 trees for $1, fake snow. I had some of these red berries from the dollar store some time ago. That might not have been last year. And then they also have these little green tree branches, and so I just went ahead and I bent some of them to look like a tree on one. I added just some of the red berries on another. I added the red truck and the trees to another, just to make it look more Christmassy. And already I liked it, but obviously it's not quite ready. And I saw this peace sign at the dollar store in my stash, so I decided to take a couple of different ribbon and some fabric. I just tore some leftover fabric from some old projects and made a messy bow, so that I could just tie that together with some twine and put that on the corner. So many things you could do with this. I think it would be adorable for a gift type item if you have these kinds of things laying around the house. But also, I mean, you could do sunflowers or lavender in the summer. You could do little pumpkins in the fall. You could just use it all year round if you want to just keep taking the items out of it. So I think that came out really cute. And here it is on the hutch with the other pieces that I have shown you. The shelves or risers from number 1 and the sign from number 2. So far this is starting to look really sweet. I do have this hutch out on Craigslist. I've had a little bit of a nibble here and there, hoping to have it gone by Thanksgiving so I can have it out of my dining room since I am having company. So now we are on to number 4. This spring I had gone to a church bazaar and got 2 tables. I believe they were $1 a piece. I already finished one with a little cow IOD stamp on it, you might remember. But this second one, I just went ahead and painted white top, black bottom, and then took out just the black and red colors and another one of those stencils that my husband had given me. And I stenciled on that to look like an old grain sack. And I did get a little bit of bleed through on that. So I took some sand and just sandpaper and just kind of sanded a little bit here and there. And then I took both some clear and some antique wax to give it, if it's too dark when I do it, I just add a little bit of the clear until I get that kind of dirty, old, antique-y look in the corners. And I am absolutely in love with the way that this came out. It's much better than I had thought, honestly. It is really cute. That takes me to number 5, which was basically an old shelf from something left over. I took this board and I just dry brushed it with a little bit of the linen white, leaving quite a bit of the brown showing through, and took another one of those stencils in the pack. I'll try to drop those in the description if I can find. I think my husband got them on Amazon. Same 3 colors and same sandpaper again, just trying, and I took off too much of the red, so I had to go back and lightly go over that top line with that. But simple, easy, cute, easy way to use just a piece of wood if you have anything left over. And I think that's just really a cute little sign. Could be a cute little gift for someone for Christmas. And then that takes me to number 6. When I made this cute little plant riser with the cork feet a few months back, I had this piece of barn board left over. So I washed that and let that dry, took out a little bit of the linen white and dry brushed that, and took out another stencil. I was a little concerned with how rough the wood is, how hard it would be to stencil, and it did prove to be a little difficult. I would say use much drier brush technique so you don't get bleed through. And then 7, this, you might remember this black thing came from the most recent dump haul. When my husband brought this home, I wasn't exactly sure, but I assumed it had a candle in it of some sort. But I had an idea to spruce it up for Christmas. After Christmas last year, Christmas Tree Shop had a bunch of these swags left over with the pine cones on them. They were like 10 feet long and $2 each. I picked up like a dozen. And then at the dump, my husband got a variety of little Christmas-shaped ornaments. Someone left at the good table. So I took some ribbon and attached the star, and already loved it after I cleaned that up good. And I ordered some of these little white pip berries from Amazon because I wanted to make this a little bit more primitive country look, and I just love pip berries. Looking around my house, I realized I had a stash of larger pine cones, and I really liked this one with the silver glitter. This had quite a bit of dark on it, and I wanted to brighten it up. And then I found one of these little electric light things that you can get at the dollar store, and I just added that all together. And I need my husband to wire it to the actual board for me, the baseboard, but I think it came out really cute. So I would love it if you would give me a thumbs up, and I would love a comment on which of these 7 is your favorite. Thank you for stopping by. I'll see you in the next one.